Dave, the Rugby Grinch. As we head into Christmas, it is a story to tell. Our nation has lost its mojo. The tear ducts, they would well. A green and nasty fella was about. He's known as the Rugby Grinch. They say he's as guilty as charged. How rugby balls he does pinch. In the darkness of the night, he is out with the owls. When everyone is asleep, around the rugby grounds he prowls. Our rugby team is short on confidence. It's not too good, so to speak. We're on a bit of a bad run, a record losing streak. Now our problems are compounded as we're not going to be able to play. Every rugby ball is getting stolen. Every single ball has gone astray. No mojo and no rugby balls could signal the end of our game. We need to be on the field if we're to ignite that dragon's flame. If every ball is to go missing, our game could be at an end. We need those rugby balls so that confidence we can mend. So who is this Rugby Grinch? From where does he hail? Why is he so determined to watch Welsh rugby fail? Well, he hails from Ebervale, where he lives in a cave. He is quite bitter and twisted. His real name is Dave. Dave was actually a good player. He had style, he had flair. With so much pace to burn, many magic moments he would share. At Eugene Cross Park, Dave would often light up the night. Under the floodlights, he was quite an inspiring sight. Then age would become a factor. Dave's pace began to wane. Those moments of greatness he could no longer attain. When Dave was at his best, there was a talk about Wales. But Shane Williams was on fire. No cap for Dave from the Vales. So slowly but surely, Dave's career ended on the field. That's where the bitterness began. Being nasty then appealed. Dave would sit in his dark cave with thoughts oh so dark. How he would take his revenge on the rugby club down the park. The rugby balls he would steal from every rugby club in the land, to the north and the south, even our regional brands. So that's how it began. Every rugby team he would raid, from Pwllheli to Porthcawl, even Rodney Parade. And to put the final nail in the coffin, there was one last place he must go, to that big stadium in Cardiff on the River Taff's flow. Sneaking in covertly when everyone was asleep, he found himself in the changing rooms. It's where he would creep. Bagging up the balls he could find, he then took a seat. A voice then called out to him, a ghost he'd then meet. "Hello Dave, my name is Barry. They once called me the king. I used to play out on that field, and an anthem I would sing. Why did you steal the balls? Our nation needs to be playing. We really need to stop the rot, for our game will be forever decaying. Follow me to the stands. We must sit and watch the big screen. There we will see Welsh rugby at its best. It was real, not a dream." Well, the Rugby Grinch was reluctant at first. Then the screen came alive. He watched teams through the decades. He watched a nation strive. There were songs he could hear. Rugby songs were being sung. There were triple crowns and grand slams that the Welsh teams had won. Yet everything wasn't always perfect. There was sometimes pain and turmoil. There were plenty of bad times on this very Welsh soil. It was at that very moment Dave had a feeling of guilt. It was time to start helping what Welsh rugby history had built. He went to speak to Barry, yet he was no longer there. Dave then looked out onto the pitch. He couldn't help but stare. There was Barry, resplendent in red, with the number 10 on his back. He could also see other famous faces, talent they didn't lack. Then, within the blink of an eye, Dave found himself alone. He now knew what he must do. For his actions he would atone. The rugby balls would be taken back so the games can resume. His deeds now felt so good, he would no longer fume. Dave then enrolled on a course. It was time to pass on his former flair. As a coach, he'd impart his knowledge. With his past exploits he'd share. A happy ending for Dave. Now we must keep patient with our Welsh rugby side. If we can give them our backing and support, trust me, they'll be back with old-fashioned oil and pride.